Hey everyone, it's another beautiful day out in the February landscape. So I'm going to get out here today and try to do another video, and I want to talk to you guys about some of the plants we're going to be moving. Some of these plants I will have told you about in one or more of our Garden 2024 videos. Some of these plants I will have not done an official video on moving, but they're going to be moving nonetheless. So I'm going to try to take you around, show you the plants, show you in some cases where we're going to move them. In some cases I don't know where some of these plants are going to go, but I'm going to try to at least show you the plants in situ, since I think in the 3 garden videos that I did for 2024 plans, I think I used just clips from prior videos. So I'm going to take you around and try to show you the plants in their actual location. So come garden with me. Let's talk about what we're going to move, where we're going to move them to, and why I'm constantly talking about moving plants. So some of you might think I talk an awful lot about moving plants in my videos, and I do, and there's a reason for that. There was no landscaping when we moved in 2014, except for about a 3x4 space in front of the front porch that had some cryptomeria, some liriope, and I think at the time some very large junipers, but the rest of the acre and a quarter was blank. I found myself, as a person who'd loved plants and gardening prior to that, but not having the space for that, I finally found myself with the space to garden and buy plants, and I just kind of went overboard. And I would love to just shop through nurseries the way some women shop through stores looking for shoes and handbags. I was looking for plants, and you know, I just bought 2 of these, 3 of that, 4 of this, another 2 of this, and just kind of plunked them in the ground without any thoughtfulness, without any purpose, without any planning. So, you know, 8-9 years later, I find myself with a garden, a landscape that needs a lot of changing. You know, it's time to organize all that now, kind of get the right plant into the right place. You know, and for the time being, I feel like I'm almost done buying plants, because we have to figure out what to do with so many of the plants we have. So that's what I'm going to try to talk about a little bit in this video. I'm going to show you, again, what plants we're going to be moving. If I can show you where they're going to move, I will show you that. And then, you know, what maybe try to consolidate my 2024 plans a little bit for you. So this is the one of the beds. Now, so excuse all the mess. We have not come out here and done any cleanup from all these fallen branches, but this is one of the beds that I did focus on in a 2024 garden plan video. A lot of the stuff in here, probably 90% of it is going to come out. So you can see here are the Pennisetum grasses. In front there are 3 Walker's Low catmints. Here are the 5 daylilies. Here are the Fire Chief arborvitae. Here's a couple more Pennisetum. These are 3, you know, it's kind of tough to tell, but we have 3 Kodiak Fresh Darvilla. This is the laced up elderberry, which I'm kind of glad I can see buds on it. Not sure if that's focusing, but I do see a lot of buds. I've kind of worried about this plant a lot because it keeps getting smaller than it was when we bought it. So I have a feeling like that one, not 100% sure, might be going in a pot. And we just kind of baby that back to health. But we have 3 Decadence Dark Chocolate, Baptisia. I've spoken about those in a previous video, where they're gonna go. And we have, this is the Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush. Again, I know it's tough to see because everything is just sticks right now. And then we also have 2, I believe these are called Purple Emperor Sedum. So that is what's gonna get moved from this bed. Continues to be really, really wet in spots. I thought it was drying out, but coming up on the 4 panicum grasses that I talked about recently. These are 4 totem poles. They are going to get moved. And I can actually show you where those are going to get moved to. At the same time, I'm going to tell you about something else that's going to get moved. So let's walk up there. We're on our way up. This is the beautyberry I spoke about recently that is going to get moved as well. So those 4 totem pole panicum grasses are going to be coming up here at the berm of our front rain garden, because these 3 Cloud 9 panicum grasses are going to be moving because they are too big. These are probably the biggest panicum grass that you can buy on the market. And this is a full sun rain garden, and those Cloud 9 panicum grasses get to be about 6.5 to 7 feet tall. And by, I'm going to say August into fall, they really start to open up and flop. They are vase shaped. So I feel like the totem pole grasses will perform much better there because they will not flop. They're much more columnar. And I'll show you now where the Cloud 9 grasses are going to go and why we're going to put them where we're going to put them. I know this is tough to kind of wrap your head around because right now it's just a mess. But there are 4 Caradonna salvia in there. There's also about 6 stackies, and I haven't decided where they're going. But I can show you where the Caradonna salvia are going to go. Over here, kind of along with everything else, just a slightly different location. So we have some purple sensation alliums planted in here on either side of the azaleas and these steepa grasses. And this is where the Caradonna salvias are going to go. I think we're going to put 2 here and 2 over there. And I'll show you my inspiration for that in a picture I think I found on Pinterest. I think the 2 purple Emperor sedum are going to come right in here. I think they'll look pretty against the yellow. This is a yarrow with yellow flowers. I think it's Coronation Gold. And it'll look pretty against the Blue Mist Spirea. The 3 Baptisia and the 5 Pennisetum are going to come in here to this bed that we're going to create around these 3 thin men. I've also spoken about that. I feel like there will be plenty of room here for the Baptisia. I think we're going to split the Pennisetum. Instead of putting 5 all in one spot, we're going to maybe do 2 down there and 3 over here in front of the Baptisia. I feel like there's room here too, especially over on this side once we create the bed for the 5 daylilies. And again, this flamethrower red bud will be coming out and being replaced with the gold spire ginkgo. And I have absolutely no idea where this flamethrower red bud is going to go, or the fire chief arborvitae. This is the problem with just buying plants that are new to the market and look really neat and you feel like you just have to have them. Then you're left with finding a spot for them. Now that's not what happened with this flamethrower red bud. I think I've said this in a couple of previous videos. We were sent one that we thought was dead. We called the company for a replacement. Turned out the other one was not dead, so now we have 2. But we'll eventually find spots for everything, or some things will just have to go. So let's go down to the dry creek bed at the bottom of the property, talk about the 2 red twig dogwoods just mentioned in the most recent video. You can see them in view now. Because these are 2 different red twigs, well, 2 different dogwoods completely, they're not going to go in the same spot. But I think we might be able to replace these with the smoke bush, maybe? I mean, I think there's enough room here for that. The smoke bush will be relatively the same size as this gray dogwood. So I feel like moving these dogwoods creates a good opportunity. Lots of space here. Yeah, maybe we put the smoke bush in the back here, and there'll be enough room up there next to these two, what is it, 2 or 3 Carl Forster grasses in here. So yeah, moving things does create some opportunities. And then another thing that is getting moved, or another few things are, so there's 2 miscanthus grasses here. Those are getting moved up to the bed that we're going to be creating. Well, not really a bed, but a planting area in front of the new green giant arbs we planted in the fall. I'll put the picture of that plant up on the screen so you can see that. And in here, this is a calacanthus. This is a burgundy spice calacanthus. But I think we're actually going to move this as well. We have a butterfly bush growing up at the top of the property that is not getting enough sun, and it's growing very close to a black walnut. And I have never been able to find any information on whether or not butterfly bushes are black walnut tolerant. So I'm going to err on the side of caution and say they're not, and move it down here because it's a blue night butterfly bush. So I feel like the blue blooms will look really pretty against the Winecraft Gold Smoke Bush. And then we will put the calacanthus up top there because calacanthus are a little more shade tolerant, and it is a little, just a tiny bit shady up there, and they're definitely black walnut tolerant. Again, this beautyberry will get replaced with the castle wall holly. I think either we put the castle wall there, or we put the castle wall where the gold cone juniper currently is, because that has to come out and get babied back to health as well. I did water it the other day because I was thinking, after I posted that recent video where we're going to be changing up this area, not sure if having a castle wall holly here and then 3, what did I talk about, squeeze box or patio box, sky box, Ilex crenatas or the Ilex glabra will look right. They're completely different Ilex, different kind of leaf structure, so I'm not sure those would look right if we put the castle wall in the corner there. So again, more things to think about. Also, I believe we'll see how these 3 go. These 3 strongbox Ilex glabra here, as you can see, this one in particular, not getting enough sun because of this pinky winky hydrangea. The pinky winky hydrangea, we're going to have to prune that up a little bit. It's quite large to transfer that also up to the bed where the green giant arbs are and the miscanthus grass are going to go. So that might mean these 3 strong boxes get a little bit more sun. Maybe they'll be a little bit better. Not sure what we're going to replace this pinky winky with, but so let's go up now and talk about where we're going to put some of these other things. So here is the butterfly bush, which seems to be doing okay. It has a lot of green on it. They can be semi-evergreen, but I feel like they could do better in full sun. I mean, there are several trees here. This fallen tree. So the calacanthus, I think, will be better here. So that's where the calacanthus is going to go. Butterfly bush will go down by the driveway garden. Kodiak fresh will come up here. They can grow under black walnuts, which there's a black walnut right here. We will plant those in and around these 2 blue shadow fothergillas. So that's a blue shadow fothergilla. That's a blue shadow fothergilla. I think here the Kodiak fresh will get a little bit more sun, so there'll be a little bit more chartreuse, which I think will be a pretty contrast. The chartreuse of the Davila with the blue of the blue shadow fothergilla. Here is the second Pinky Winky. This has been up here for several years actually, just kind of in a holding spot. That's going to go in the planting area. We're going to create around or in front of the green giants over there with the other Pinky Winky and 4 miscanthus grasses that we have that we're going to be moving. So it's going to be 2 miscanthus grasses and a Pinky Winky here in between these 2 green giants. Hopefully everything survives because it is incredibly wet up here. The Armstrong Gold Maple that I bought, that was my Christmas present, is going to go in between this green giant and that green giant. This is a volunteer tulip poplar that we're going to have to figure out where to put that. Obviously somewhere up in the woods. And then in between these 2 green giants, we're going to have 2 more miscanthus and the other Pinky Winky. There used to be a shed here a long time ago. It was my neighbor's. When our house was built, the builder made them take it down. And I feel like there's an opportunity to plant some stuff in there if we create a bed on top of all this foundation stone. This magnolia, this is a moon glow. There's another one over there. You can see that in that cage. That's going to get moved. There's going to be 2 magnolias over there with some kind of planting bed in front in between those. I feel like the tiger eye sumacs were supposed to go there, but looking how wet it is up there, not sure. Tiger eye sumacs really like it dry. Maybe we have to plant them up on a berm. So this is the area that I was talking about for the 2 magnolias. This is the other one. And I thought at one point, right where all our fallen leaves are here, that magnolia was going to move slightly to the back here. And then the other one was going to be planted somewhere in here. We have some plants to move as well. In front of these 2 crab apples and that stand of elderberry, we have 2 straight species, Cornus Florida and a red buckeye. And this is where I wanted the tiger eye sumacs to go. I'm just stepping in puddles. Incredibly wet. I feel like this is a, what's it called? Vincent's Red Witch Hazel. I would like to move this along with this native fringe tree over to in front of that spruce tree, so that in this grassy area we do not have any trees or anything planted. This is eventually, I would like for this to become a raised bed vegetable garden, but we're not there yet. Anyway, so this is where those dogwoods are going to come. You can see we already have red twigs up here, so we will put the 4th one, not sure where, somewhere up here. They can take quite a bit of shade, and they'll be fine up here because you can see how wet it is. Lots of standing water there. Maybe we put the 4th one in here somewhere. Those are 5 chokeberries. So I feel like we have a lot of room. And then the 5th, not 5th, the gray dogwood, because dogwoods can take quite a bit of shade. We have an area right here to the left that we finally had cleared out a little bit last spring. There was some god-awful piece of metal growing, just buried up here in this dirt. We finally moved it. You can see there's some iris coming up that were growing in that foundation. And my husband moved up here, but I thought that dogwood could come right up in here. And I think the only thing we have left to talk about are those 3 Cloud9 panicum grasses, which we are going to divide. So instead of 3, we have 6. This is where the panicum grasses are going to come. We're going to divide them and plant them 3 on either side, like 3 right over there, 3 right over there. We leave this spot in the middle open because there are a lot of meadow flowers here that I'm hoping are going to germinate this year. We have 3 swamp azaleas in here that have never done anything in the 5 or 6 years that we've had them. Another plant that's just either gotten smaller the longer we've had it, or they're just not growing at all. This one looks like it's been eaten by something recently. This one does have some buds on it. Those will get moved to a really wet part of the yard, and the beautyberry will come up and get planted right here. I think I covered everything. Like I said, I have a feeling there's going to be some plants that are just not going to find a spot in the yard. Maybe they get put at the bottom of the driveway and given away. I know my husband's going to balk at that, but sometimes you just have to clean house a little bit so that everything just has a better chance at looking nicer, surviving better. I can't think, just trying to think off the top of my head if there's anything else. I mean, I do have a list with me, but I think we've covered everything. So, I know that was a bit of all over the place video, but I hope at least you now have a bit of a clearer picture where everything is going to get moved. And I feel like once we finish moving everything, we can maybe concentrate a little bit more up on that right side area where those red twig dogwoods are going to go. It is just incredibly wet up there, and one of those eastern white pines that we just had planted I think it was last spring, is just sitting in a puddle of water. It was already a little bit stressed, I think, after planting. Now it looks even more so. We're going to have to find a way to channel that water away from that. They don't like sitting in puddles like that. So guys, anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video and everything is becoming a little bit more clear about what we're trying to do here. Thanks for watching, and hopefully we'll see you in the next one. Bye.